Hello traders and welcome back to my channel. My name is Avikshit Vijay, and in this video I will be breaking down my trades I had taken for this week and the reason behind them and how I was able to generate 25% return on my capital of $200. It is not even 25, it is more than 25. If you can see, 260 is the current balance. Last week closing balance was 98. I had added a few funds to make it $200 so I could trade with 0.02 lot, right? And I was able to generate $60 this week, and I will share how I was able to do it and what was the reason behind my trades. So without wasting any more time, let's get started into the video. So the first trade of the week on Tuesday, 1 2 3 trend line resistance in white setup, then 1 2 3 and then 4 horizontal level in white setup. So everywhere it was inviting, and if you can see, this was an M pattern has been retested once, twice, thrice, and it gave a straight break, and all the impulsive buyers were even taken out, right? So it took out the impulsive buyers, broke this trend line, invited the sellers, grabbed the liquidity, and started moving up. So when it came up into the zone, I planned my entry, right? And after entry, it was like halting here for 2-3 hours. The reason behind me holding this trade with confidence was because of this trend line. This trend line continuous invite at this trend line. So I was waiting for that one big breakout that could have given me a huge profit, because all seller stop losses were above this level. And since I traded with 0.02 lot, I booked one at this break when the level was broken, and the next lot was planned to be booked at this level. But the reason I cut it here was because I was outside, I didn't have time to actively track it, and this was a liquidity zone and anything could have happened here. If it had halted, I would have not had time to track it before it would have reversed, completely wiping off my profits. So I decided to lock it in, and since I'm also a new trader, I am trading with 0.02 lot now, like one step up. So everything was showing double, my profits were doubled, my losses were double. I didn't want to risk that, right? So I logged in one lot here and the other immediately I booked soon after. But as you can see, my initial plan was intact. It hit here and then reversed. And now this was the first trade. The reason was invite setup at the trend line, invite setup at the horizontal level, and M pattern being retested multiple times. Let us move to the second trade. So if you can see the second trade, it is pretty much the same. M pattern, breakdown, retest, retest again, and M pattern at the retest. This is my favorite setup. As you all know, multiple videos I mentioned this, bull trade analysis, multiple videos I've mentioned, and I've loved trading on this setup because this gives me a relatively high conviction, right? M has been broken, retested, lower low is just to invite these sellers and grab the liquidity, and it grabbed all of them, and when it came back into the zone, I took my entry and it went straight to my target without wasting any single moment. It went straight to my target. So the reason for targeting this point was, if you can see, this is the previous swing, and a break of previous swing introduces liquidity into the market, right? So let's say you're a normal trader, okay, and you spot a higher high, okay, the higher high pattern, you spot this higher high pattern. So what would you feel? Market is bullish, let us go long here, right? So that is where the liquidity comes, and that the all the institutions and the big players would have bought here and will sell here because you as retailer are buying here. So that you are being the liquidity to the market, and you are ultimately helping them liquidate their positions by sacrificing your capital, right? That is what I had entered at this trend's lower low, exited at the lower high, and if you can see the next trade or hit came straight back to my entry in the next moment. So I was fingers crossed. I had a very good exit this week. I had a very good trade. In this, I had captured for 145 pips, this one 140 pips, and this 125 pips. So it has been a relatively good week, and I hope this really continues. The next week, I will really trade passive with just one lot, which is half quantity of my capital, because this has been a good week, and I really hope not to wipe out these profits by over trading the next week, right? And it has also been a good momentum filled week, so next week cannot be more filled more with momentum. It will be more volatile or sideways, so I'll be aiming for shorter targets and trading with smaller lot sizes. So moving on to the third trade, if you can see, this third trade is also based on the same logic. M pattern, then retest again, M pattern, the second M patterns, retest 1, retest 2, retest 3, right? So I entered on the break of the third retest when it came back into the zone, and what I observed was, first it went up, okay, and it came back into the zone. I did not treat it as a breakout failure because this was a change of character. If you can see, this was a change of character, right? So this becomes the fair value gap for the market, and this is ideally where it should retrace and hit the target. And as you can see, I waited patiently after this candle, and when it came back into the zone, I trailed my stop loss here, and it slowly steadily went to my target, which was at the resistance, and again reversed from there, right? So this again was a very good trade, where all these three trades of the same week were based on the same setup. Nothing new, nothing different, but the same setup. And I'm surprised myself on how a single setup can work so many times in a single week, right? This generally does not happen, because one day when a setup works, the next day all the retailers get to know about it and it stops working. Okay, only for the momentary time being. It definitely works in the long run, but the immediate next day or the day after, it does not generally work. And I was surprised at how this was working. um, these two trades I had taken with 0.02 lot, and after this had given me good profits, I started being passive, and I traded this with half quantity, which is 0.01, because I knew I had to keep a check on my risk management, and I had to secure my profits, right? So I didn't initially want to trade today, but this was a big setup that I had traded on multiple times in the past, and I also made a video on last week, I think, last or the previous week. Um, you know, an obvious level being broken and halted. Generally in an uptrend, this setup does not work, because this halt will generally be to grab the liquidity of the impulsive buyers, liquidate them, invite fresh sellers, and then move to the upside. And I think that is what has happened this time as well. I have been the liquidity to the market, and this has hit my stop loss. So if you want to see the P&L, this is as it stands. So this was the first trade I had taken in 2 branches, right? And this was the second trade that I had taken in 2 branches, and this was the third trade which I had taken half quantity, and the fourth trade again half quantity. So that was all as the trades of the week. I will post a new learning video on what pips are and how to what are the strategies that I trade on in gold. That will be out this weekend, and will be a fresh learning content for you all. For now, it's a goodbye, and I'll see you in the weekend. Have a safe and profitable journey.